Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for today's press conference reaction. Eddie has been speaking to the media, of course, ahead of the game at Portman Road tomorrow, which kicks off at 3 o'clock. And, of course, Matchday Live will take you through that game, play-by-play commentary from 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. So make sure you join us for that one. Now, as usual, please do give it a like and subscribe if you like what you see. And, of course, you can support the channel in the usual two ways. First of all, via membership, which is just underneath me and Billy Bob. That is the join button. And, of course, that is a really good way to support the channel, basically. So thank you in advance for that. Now, what I will say is Monday, we do have the Christmas show. If you remember, you've got a lot more chance of winning some prizes on Monday night's Christmas special. And, of course, Super Chats are available, which is a $sign at the bottom of the live chat. And that will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. And Trulls has immediately gifted a Toon Review membership. So thank you very much for that, Trulls. Good morning, Billy Bob.
Good morning. Good morning to all you beautiful Magpie Massive out there in Viewland.
The Magpie Massive, indeed. Hope you are all well. Now, Eddie has, of course, spoken this morning. And, well, I mean, it wasn't a press conference to say about sort of injuries and things like that. It was more about just building up for this Brentford game, because not much has changed, to be honest, injury-wise or anything like that. It's only been, obviously, a couple of days since our last game. Now, he started off, Billy, talking about the basically the Arsenal clash in the Carabao Cup and what he thinks of it. And he says, we were due a tough game, whoever we got. And I watched it with interest last night. The game beforehand was an unbelievable game to watch. When you get to this stage of the competition, you know the quality of the teams is very high. We've had some good games against Arsenal in the last couple of years, so we'll look forward to that. Not really anything different he could say. I mean, he couldn't turn around and go, oh, fucking hell, we're playing Arsenal.
No, generic speaking, generic manager talk.
Yes.
And he was right. I mean, whoever we drew would have been a hard tie for us. So, yeah. And whoever drew us is going to have a hard tie. So, it's semi-finals of the Cup. You can't expect any weak teams in there. Sometimes it happens, but very rarely. So, yeah, that's what he could really say, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, last night, thank you to everybody who tuned in. Brilliant viewing figures on YouTube as well as X. And over 10,000 live viewers while that show was on. We've never been over 10,000 live viewers ever. So thank you very much to everybody that tuned in, of course. I mean, I had a hunch, Billy, when that draw was on that we were going to get Arsenal. Some people were saying in the chat, oh, Liverpool, it'll be Liverpool. But something was just telling me inside that it was going to be Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham. Not much for muchness, really. We'd all preferred Spurs.
Yeah.
But even if you beat Spurs, then you've got to beat one of Arsenal, Liverpool. So you must knock one out. And hope Spurs knock out Liverpool and we give them a good hiding at Wembley.
Yeah. Trolls has gifted another membership. Thank you, Trolls. Very, very kind of you, matey. Thank you so much. Now, obviously, he was asked if he preferred a home tie in the second leg. Of course, we travelled to Arsenal in the first leg, which I think I prefer, to be honest. But Eddie said, I think you probably would. Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot in it, but I think that probably would have been our preference. But I think any game with Arsenal will be difficult, home or away. But as I said, we've had some really good competitive games. I think they've been really tight. So I think that's something on the horizon for us to really look forward to. I think we're all excited by that. Those two games are quite unique, that they're separated so far apart. But they're the sort of, in the background of my mind, the focus very, very quickly, as I said, after the game here against Brentford is on Ipswich, and we've prepared the game and we're looking forward to it. I mean, it is a bit strange, Billy, that the two legs are a month apart.
Very much so. Very much so. However, if you go down to Arsenal and rough them up a bit and come away with a draw or a slight loss or even a slight victory,
yeah,
they can forget about it then, can't they, for a month? And then, you know, I agree. I think playing at home, the second leg's vital. Because if it does go to extra time, you've got that at home, you've got penalties at home. You know what you've got to do in front of your home crowd. I think the away side first is a massive advantage for us. I really do.
Yeah. Love listening to you. Just subscribe tonight to Tonali's Rebirth in treatment. So cannot watch Il Contestos over here in Dublin. Keep up the good work. Is a good stuff. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Everybody saying hello and good morning to everybody in the chat. It's popping up for some strange reason. Yeah, I mean, look, I prefer the second leg at home. The problem is, Billy, and I heard a few people saying this last night, that if we go to Arsenal in that first leg and get togged 3 or 4, it doesn't put you in good stead for a month later, does it? It kind of thinks, oh, what's the fuck the point of turning up, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but it's a home game. It's you can just have a go at it, can't you? If you get beat 3 or 4, you can just have a good go at it and see where you get. It's strange things happen. We've been 4 down to Arsenal before, remember? That'll piss us off saying that, won't it?
Yeah, just a bit. Peters is a bit concerned when Eddie said he might rotate, particularly when he mentioned Longstaff could come in. Yeah, but he's got to, Pete. He's got to. And I mean, the fact that obviously Joelinton is missing for the Ipswich game. I mean, we looked at it last night, didn't we? And we thought that it would be strange if he brought Longstaff in instead of Willock because of the position. I just think it upsets the balance if Longstaff comes in. But if they've been working on it, then maybe it won't.
Well, it depends, isn't it? He's going to have to transfer probably Tonali to the left, Bruno back into his natural 6 and Longstaff to the right, because there's no way he's going to play Longstaff in the 6. There's absolutely no chance whatsoever. Personally, it's a straight swap for me. Joelinton for Joe Willock. No complications. Just a straightforward swap.
Yeah, yep. By the way, a big congratulations to one of our members, Laura Gallagher. She passed a driving test earlier this week. And she's also commented there, I've got my car today, so it's a great end to the year. Massive congratulations, Laura. I've been following your journey on Facebook, actually, with your driving test. So congratulations and well done again. Julie J says, we don't need Longstaff near this team anymore unless it's an absolute necessity. I don't think Eddie sees it that way, Julie. Wise Guy says Arsenal have a very busy January, so we might get lucky. Yeah, they'll probably have to change it up, I guess, because they're still in, obviously, European.
Well, they have done all the way through so far. They have done all the way through. I mean, but they've got some great kids, so, you know, it's going to be hard for us.
Troll says it sounds like Howe doesn't want to sell Miggy and then says we don't have funds. No shit, Sherlock. You need to sell Miggy and Longy to get funds. Look, I don't think Eddie will have any choice, to be honest. If a bid comes in for Miggy, I think Mitchell accepts it, Billy, and I think we just move on from Miggy. I think we have to move on from Miggy. 100%. I don't get why Eddie Howe is so reluctant to sell him. It's bizarre.
Well, he doesn't play him, so just it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
the Longstaff one's different because he's out of contract at the end of the season. So unless he signs a new contract, he's going for nothing at the end of the season. So I think personally we'll give him another contract and then maybe look at selling him in the summer. Yeah, absolutely. Ollie says, does it go down to goal difference in the semi-finals? Well, yeah, that's what it is. 2 legs. Of course, it's goal difference.
Goal difference? How are we, Ollie?
You've scored more than us. That's it. You're in.
Yeah, I think he's had a bit of a castor there. Darren Lee says, have a good Christmas and New Year to the Toon Review fam. I always love watching and listening to this channel. Thank you, mate, and to you and yours as well. Nick says, Mitchell will be ruthless. I hope he is.
He has to be.
He is.
He has to be. It's his reputation on the line.
Yeah, I know. Laura says, Paul, did you see my instructor made me pause outside the stadium? I did. That's the picture I saw when you passed. As I was scrolling through Facebook, and it was. Listen, you're passing your driving test. Doesn't matter where it is. Just get it done, and your life changes. Rachel's in the house. Good morning. Listening while working my first day of the week and the last day of the year. So basically, one day, and then she's off till next year. It was actually outside the Stadium of Light that Laura's picture was taken. Dave the Rave says we can't go to Arsenal to sit in a low block. We have to go there to win. Well, if you believe Eddie Howe, he goes into every game to try and win. So let's see how it goes there. I mean, it's a while away.
We saw him try and do that last season, and look what happened to us. Season before, we competed a bit and put our foot in a few places and what have you. Come away with a 0-0 draw.
Paul says, by the look on Miggy's face, I think he's ready to go. I hope so. I truly hope so. Listen, we can't keep going on about it. Now, when he was asked about transfers, of course, he said it's been very, very loose discussions. There hasn't been many discussions in great depth on January, and that's because we've got a lot of games. Our focus is on the matches, and we're restricted to a degree in what we can and can't do. So I don't think that's our main focus at the moment. Certainly not mine anymore. But of course, we're aware January's around the corner, and we'll need to be reactive and ready. I mean, look, when it comes to a manager talking about the transfer window, it's basically smoke and mirrors, Billy.
Well, it's out of his hands. I don't think he's got anything to do with them anymore.
Yeah.
So he can't really say much about it. Obviously, he'll want an input on what kind of player, which player we get, but he won't have any idea about the negotiations or the offers or anything like that, I wouldn't have thought. Because that's not his remit anymore.
I think he'll have a list, Billy.
Oh, we'll definitely have a list.
I think, there's
Mark
a possibility that he may have given something to Mitchell and that they may have had conversations. But when he says, we're now mid-December, right? We're into the sort of final part of December. So the window opens very, very soon. Okay. So in my opinion, I think Eddie is completely bullshitting about the fact where he says not many discussions have taken place.
No, I agree.
I'm sorry, but he's kidding us with that. We're not stupid as fans to know that, that there's no way they haven't spoke about the transfer window in January, especially when, certain reports are talking about Bakayoko, of course, that discussions have taken place with him. His agent has come out and said that Newcastle is high on his list of destinations. Look, I don't care if Eddie bullshits us right the way through till January, but we have to do business.
Oh, no. We have to do at least 1, 2, maybe 3. Something's got to be done. And I think sales have got to happen as well. So I think it might be a busy January for us, if I'm perfectly honest.
It's like Chipper says, though, Billy. Do people really think Eddie will just tell everybody what the budget is? He's not going to.
He won't even know. He won't even know.
Well, he might not even know himself. I have a feeling he will. Or he'll have a whereabouts of what it is. But, people need to remember that we bid £70 million for Mark Gay at the end of the summer window, right? That money just does not disappear into oblivion. So that money is still there somewhere, right? Let's not forget that.
We didn't really do that. We also then, last minute thing, did 50 for Langer. So there should be some money to spend. Of
course there should. But there will be players leaving. I don't think anybody can. Dubravka has apparently agreed a deal to leave. Miggy could be off to Charlotte FC. Look, there's possibilities everywhere around it. So if you're going to believe everything that Eddie says on the transfer window, when this man completely bluffed everybody when we were signing Harvey Barnes, he got interviewed in America in the hotel saying that he had no idea what was happening with Harvey Barnes when he was in the next room doing his welcome to Newcastle interview. So let's not forget that. And he's not going to come out and tell us, we're going to be active, we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that, because he doesn't want to give anything away to any other clubs. So take with a pinch of salt what Eddie says in press conferences regarding the transfer window. It's crazy. Now, he was asked by the press, how is Joelinton, of course. Now, we further found out Joelinton, Billy, was taken to hospital after the game the other night and had to have stitches.
I'm not surprised. He had his face stapled on the pitch by all accounts.
Yeah.
So,
wow. Fucking hell.
How that Collins got away with that, I don't know. Because, where you're standing. When you know exactly where you're standing. You know how you can get yourself out of the way. I played rugby for years. You've played ice hockey for years. I'm sure you've left your skates on people. Yeah. I've left my boots on people.
I wouldn't leave me skating on people, Billy, because
but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Of course I do. Absolutely.
You know what I mean. I've done it. I've left stinting on people deliberately.
Yeah, when
no doubt about it.
If somebody was
and make an accident, he knew what he was doing, Collins.
Somebody was aggravating me on the ice. You used to just look where the referee was and then give him a quick dig with your stick, in the midriff and stuff like that. Of course you would. But this is what he said. He said, he's okay. He's a little bit battered and bruised. He's had a few stitches, I believe. There was a bit around the area of the ear, which was quite delicate, and he had a cut mouth as well. Probably him not being available this weekend is a good thing for him, because it allows him to rest those bruises and wounds and then hopefully be fully fixed. He is suspended, Billy, which, I think when we found out, but it's not just what happened to him the other night, Billy. I think his shoulder, and it's good for him to have a few days just rest.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be sending them away for 2 or 3 days. Gonna have a break. Don't be training. Don't do anything. Just make sure you're ready to come back in next Tuesday, Wednesday, and prepare yourself for next weekend's game. Villa is next one, isn't it?
Yes, and obviously that will be a big game, and good to have him back. Lewis Adams was asking about Joelinton's tooth because it looked like he ripped one out. I said that on commentary. I thought I saw he grabbed his tooth and just ripped it out when he was having a Barney with Collins, but nothing's been said about that, so I'm not sure. But it did look from our view, Billy, that he stood there and ripped his tooth out. I mean, I've seen that on the with ice hockey before. Ice hockey players have had a bang in the mouth and the tooth's wobbly. They just pull it out. But they're a different breed.
He knew what he was doing, Collins. Absolutely no doubt in my mind.
But it's interesting that nobody's further looked at that incident, Billy, and he seems to have just got away with it, I guess.
Well, yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Should have been retroactive for me.
Yeah. Now, let's have a look. Now, they won't be having Christmas Day off. He was quite forceful on that one. He says, we'll be in on Christmas Day. I think the game takes priority. We have to prepare in the right way. So the players expect that now. I don't think they thought that they were going to get Christmas Day off. I think it's an intense schedule for the players. I think we always, when you're in this industry, the Christmas period is slightly different for us. But we enjoy it. And I think with the games around Christmas do have a unique atmosphere. They have a special feel to them. Hopefully they'll continue to have a special feel because we'll get some good results. And that's the plan. I think any footballer now, Billy, especially in England, of course, there's various countries have Christmas breaks and winter breaks for three or 4 weeks. We don't, and I think that's because it's very much a staple in English football is the Christmas period. Everybody looks forward to it, especially the fans, and they can't take that away from the fans.
Yeah, everyone rolls up Boxing Day full of booze and in high spirits and wanting a good game of football to watch. I disagree with Eddie Howe about the result because last season we played Boxing Day, we played Forest at home and got our asses kicked.
Yes, we did.
Different to that this year.
Yeah,
100% I do. But yeah, the Christmas period. I can think of one player that didn't play much of Christmas. That's Mr. Chiesa.
Yes. Well, we haven't seen him at all. I mean, where is he? I mean, he's never played for Liverpool, has he?
Very hardly.
The odd couple of games. Jamie McKeown, thank you for being a member for 3 months so far. Thank you very much for your ongoing support, mate. Big Joe will come back with a real point to prove. I wouldn't want to be the victim of Big Joe after this. Well, I think, we don't play Brentford again, obviously, now. We do. We've still got the Premier League home game against them. Yeah, they've got to come up here. Maybe. Darren Lee says, just hope we don't lose against Ipswich, as that's the type of game we normally lose. For example, Luton and Derby bring back memories of losses. Yes, I'd agree with that, but we have to put that at the back of our minds now and think, right, let's go. Apparently, Chiesa played in the cup game, so there you go. He is still kicking around.
Well, if we lose to Ipswich tomorrow, that takes away all the good work for the past 7 days. So
yeah. This. If we beat Ipswich tomorrow, then it's been a fantastic week, and for me, a turnaround in the season.
Yes.
And something more positive to look forward to. Trolls, thank you for being a member for incredibly 35 months. One of my longest subscribers is Trolls. Kicked around when the channel kicked off, and he's been with us ever since. I just hope we get a right winger and maybe a right centre back. I spoke about this yesterday, Billy, and I think the two main priorities have to be a striker and a right winger.
I agree. Yeah, I think a striker is probably more important than a right centre back. With Botman coming back as well, that'll give us Cher, Botman, Byrne, Kelly. Yeah, I know they're all left-footed apart from one, but still, Lascelles can't be that far away. Kraft can't be that far away. So I think the right side is centre back position is not as important as it was. Striker and right wing definitely are.
Yeah. Now, finally on Kieran McKenna, he said, I had the pleasure of meeting him a few times over the years, and he's always been a really good, down-to-earth guy. Obviously, he's a top manager. What he's done with Ipswich is incredible. Dramatic steep rise going through the leagues, near enough the same group of players. It speaks volumes for his abilities to develop players and get the best out of each and every one of them. They will be a really tough game for us. Now, Kieran McKenna, Billy, is obviously he was linked with Manchester United, wasn't he? When Ten Hag was sacked, and even before Ten Hag was sacked. Lewis Miley fan, thank you for your super chat. Bakayoko just lacks something Championship-ish. Gave Howe. Have you seen him play? Come on. He's a special player back at Yoko, trust me. But yeah, back to Kieran McKenna, Billy. Very good manager. And what I like about him so far this season, Billy, is the way Ipswich play. He hasn't changed. You know, he believes in his philosophies, and although they've only won twice this season, still yet to win at home, of course, he hasn't changed his beliefs and the way that is the way his team plays.
They've competed in most of the games they've played. They're very much like Luton last season, to be honest. They've got strengths, they've got weaknesses, but they play to their strengths. They've got a good manager. He's 2 successive promotions, not an easy thing to do.
Yeah,
and of course he did his apprenticeship at Manchester United, didn't he, as a coach? So that's why he was linked with them. Also, Chelsea wanted him, didn't they? Let's not forget that he was their first choice before Muetzka. Yeah. So yeah, he's very, very highly spoke of. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he's quite got the squad he needs to finish above the relegation zone in the Premiership. But who knows? I
mean, look, Ipswich play a certain type of way. They've got some very, very good players. Delap, of course, is missing, which is huge for them. Like I said last night, I do believe we go and win the game. I think we're good enough to win the game. We've got the best players. We've got a better team than them. Ipswich's fight isn't with us this season. It's a sort of mini league that they've got going near the bottom of the league. We will, hopefully have turned a corner now and start believing in ourselves and get that consistency right, moving up the leagues. It's not going to be an easy game. And Eddie's, praising Kieran McKenna. I mean, he's not going to sit there and say, "Oh, Kieran McKenna's a twat." He's very complimentary. But Eddie did a lot of work with these other managers, didn't he? When he wasn't working, when he left Bournemouth, he met a lot of these managers now, and he went down the leagues as well. He did a lot of visiting of different teams, picking up different ideas.
Well, famously, he went to see Simeone, didn't he, in Madrid, and managers of that ilk and coaches of that ilk. So yeah, he didn't sit on his arse doing nothing, moping around for a year or 18 months, however long it was. He went out and learned different styles. We yet to see them, all of them, at St James's Park yet, I've got to say, but who knows? Maybe one day.
Troll says, so is the Ipswich manager a new Howe since he has done what Howe did? No trolling, genuine question. It may be. I mean, yes, he's done an Eddie Howe because he's brought Ipswich up through a couple of divisions, and he's now trying to establish them in the Premier League, and I think that's the big problem for Kieran McKenna. Bournemouth, when Eddie brought them up, Bournemouth were on a high, but I think people found it very difficult to go and play at the Vitality Stadium because of the size of it. And Bournemouth were able to establish themselves. Ipswich is very different. Ipswich have a very big history, Billy, in football. Obviously, winning European trophies and stuff back in the Bobby Robson days. They've always been a top-tier club for a long time, and then they fell away.
They won the league in the early 60s.
Yeah,
they won the league in the early 60s with Sir Alf. Well, he wasn't Sir Alf Ramsey then, but Alf Ramsey managed them. Bobby Robson, of course, took them to FA Cup victories, UEFA Cup victories. Probably should have won the league 1981. I think they should have won the league personally. Aston Villa picked them to it. So yeah, they've got a rich history. They've even played European football since then. They played European football in the early 2000s with George Burley in charge. So yeah, they're a big club. They're a big club. For that, especially for that neck of the woods as well. Yeah, I've got
very well supported side. Very well supported. Listen, Portman Road will be absolutely bouncing tomorrow. Absolutely no doubt about it. It's the Bobby Robson derby. It's a very special game. And I remember when we played Ipswich back in the Championship, Billy, it was 2017 or something, I think it was back then. And it was a special atmosphere then.
I remember playing them live on BBC when Kevin Nolan, I think, scored about 6 past them, didn't we? At Portman Road,
something like that.
But I'll never forget the atmosphere of Portman Road in the 80s when they had the likes of Paul Mariner and Arnold Muirvan, Franz Tyson, Mick Mills, Eric Gates. They were a good side. Alan Brazil, really good side.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see tomorrow how they play. Lewis Miley fan back with another super chat. It's selfish to support their own careers, in the words of Vincent Kompany. Not sure what you're talking about there, to be honest, but who's been selfish about their careers? Baz Down Under says there's a good show for Billy to talk about the 80s. It's certainly maybe a show we could do, Billy, looking back, maybe during the summer. Look back at decades of football, and certainly one that Newcastle United. I mean, the 80s for Newcastle United. I mean, you talk about a yo-yo. Jesus Christ. Some of the football we played in the 80s was fantastic with Mirandini, etc. But others, Tony Cunningham and George Riley days, dear Christ.
Well, I saw George Riley last week. The big match we visited is about 84 now, and George Riley was playing for Watford. But the week before, Newcastle went to Old Trafford and got beat 5-0.
Yeah, it wasn't great days. Very well. I don't know what it was at St James's Park, Billy, but when Newcastle used to lose and get a thumping at St James's back in the old 80s, the toilets used to smell more. Honestly, it was weird. He used to pick up when it was a depressing day standing in the Gallagher. Certainly me as a kid stand at the front, and then Newcastle would be losing about 3 or 4-0. Suddenly, the toilets would smell worse than normal. And it just Newcastle's. I think it was the Gallagher way of punching the Newcastle fans in the gut. Just saying, oh God. DK35, thank you for your super chat. Ferguson on loan. Kang in Lee, right winger 10, and Kelleher goalkeeper should get us top 5. Then Wirtz and Harwood Bellis from Southampton in January. I mean,
Liverpool ain't selling Kelleher in January.
Absolutely not. No chance. No chance. Alan says the less said about us in the 80s, the better. Tangy says 101 great goals. I still watch that. I used to try and replicate some of the goals when I was a kid.
I think Glenn Hoddle scored about 50 of them.
50 of them, yeah.
Good grief, some of the goals he scored in the
80s. Lewis Mighty fan with another super chat. Selfish playing on the way. WD won't just make it work. I think he's talking about tactics for Eddie.
Yes, I think he's right.
Yeah, absolutely. But there you go. Short and fast show this morning, just under half an hour. But hey, we can only report on what was said in the press conference, and with these. The press conference today, it's very difficult for Eddie because, or the reporters, to be honest, because it was only a couple of days ago that he did one for the Brentford Cup game. So nothing's really changed. Joelinton's out, we know that, and it's now who comes in for him. Will it be Longstaff, and will it be Willock? We'll find out at 1:45 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. But don't forget, tonight, 7 o'clock, we've got TTR Friday. The best way to start your weekend, of course. Football banter, great chat, good laugh, and, of course, your chance to come and join us and have your say on all things Newcastle United. And then tomorrow, 2:30, Matchday Live, as we prepare with half an hour build-up to the game. And then, of course, full commentary from 3 o'clock of the game at Portman Road. So a lot to look forward to. We've got the match review on Sunday night, and then Monday night, 7 o'clock, our Christmas show, where we are giving loads of stuff away and have a really good laugh on that one as well, a couple of days before Christmas. So make sure you got that in your diaries. Okay, guys, that's it for now. Thank you for your super chats and memberships. Mods and Billy, thank you very much. And, of course, to you guys. Hope you have a great Friday, and we'll see you back at 7 o'clock. Until then, take care.
How are the lads and lasses?
Come back and check out the breeze.